Hello everyone. This isn't going to serve as an introduction video. Already got an introduction video. But it's more just if someone stumbles across the channel and maybe they've seen one or two of my videos or they've seen clips of my videos and they're wondering what I'm all about. So I'm just going to lay it out a little bit in this video. A little bit more background as well. I'm also making this to say thank you to all my subscribers. I do try to get around comments, but I know that I don't always reply to every comment, and I apologize for that. I do try, but it's various reasons why I don't. I've got to try and devote a bit more time to that. So I might allocate a time each day where I'll look at my analytics, but a lot of distractions going on in life right now. But I would like to do something with this channel. I'm not quite sure what yet. I have a good Indonesian friend, and she mentioned some tools, some software that could be used, um, and I may well utilize that. I'm not so sure about the technical side of it. And the thing is, you can only work with what you've got now. What I'm working on here is a fairly straightforward, fairly simple um, stream. I think it's called Stream Style HP laptop. I really like it. It's a compact laptop. I've not had any major problems with it compared to my previous models. But I like this little laptop, and there's a built-in camera with it. It's probably not the best quality out there. I've seen videos that are a little bit more crisp, clear. But as long as the sound is okay and as long as people can see me clearly enough, I think it suffices for now. But if there is technology I can use, I mean, you see videos that have these sort of analytics, like nice colorful headlines and stuff, or title cards, I should say. Do something like that. That would be great. But as I've explained to some of my subscribers, unfortunately, YouTube does put barriers up to creators. There was a brief period that I was monetized, and I barely saw a penny from that. I mean, it was really barely worth the time. And what happens is they put you into a situation where you're almost forced into the corner as a creator. Now I don't know if this varies with bigger, maybe YouTube sort of has this, and this might sound a bit cynical, but maybe with very successful creators, they give them a little bit more leeway. I don't know. But I know that I've been forced into a situation where I've had to, when I was monetized, I had to regulate my own videos. And the problem was the wording was so restrictive that it really forces you into a corner of creativity. And in the end, I decided simply to not monetize at all. I mean, I wasn't making any money from it anyway, nothing to speak about. I was lucky if I would get £1.50 in a whole month, so it was barely, it just wasn't worth the effort, at least at that time, of trying to constantly fit into the barometers of what they deemed acceptable. And it was frustrating because, I never have graphic content. I never show graphic images. There's minimal profanity, absolute minimal. I might say darn once in a while, but there's no nudity. Um, yes, I cover serious subjects. Yes, I cover subjects that are in the news, but there's no profanity. There's no graphic images. And as for copyright, if I ever show, for example, a newspaper or a CD or a DVD, I'm careful to always um, say who the artist or the creator or the publication is. Um, Same with books. So what they do is they put you into this corner. For example, does your video contain hateful content? Well, of course it doesn't. But what they deem to be hateful content isn't really common sense because you could be talking about a controversial or taboo subject. And I can make a video. This is an example. I can make a video, well, as I did, about Salman Rushdie and the whole problem of Islamist intolerance. Now, some might deem that to be insulting to Muslims, right? So then YouTube will say, oh, well, it's not suitable for advertisers. So here's the problem. The sort of content of channels like mine are very hard to get with advertisers. And I do understand it to an extent because I understand that companies don't want to maybe feel that they are endorsing the content of my video because it is my opinions. But at the same time, I think the restrictions are far, far too stringent because there's almost no flexibility in terms of what you can actually say. Now, I'm exercising my free speech here. I'm saying basically what I want, but it means I can't be monetized. So it's difficult to know how the channel can grow because I mean, I know there's options like Patreon and things like that. I might look into that, but um, the thing is, in a sense, the channel is growing because my subscribers are growing. At the moment, it's around 1,900. Not long ago, it was 1,800. So it is gradually growing, and I'm hugely grateful for that. And I guess I feel I want to give my subscribers something back. I want to improve the content a little bit or do something, just something with this channel. But that's the situation. YouTube puts creators into a corner, and it is quite frustrating. Because the way they designate things just doesn't make much sense. I mean, if you cover a controversial subject like Black Lives Matter, or it could be almost anything, even if you're talking about it in the context of debate, in the context of discussing something that is already in the news domain, they won't monetize it, or they'll force you to be so restrictive that it's basically self-censorship to a large extent. And I found that quite frustrating, so I voluntarily decided to demonetize myself because that was the situation. So if there was some way that YouTube could be more flexible, I would certainly look at that. Um, I just feel that a lot of, and this isn't just YouTube, I feel it's the same with Facebook, I feel it's the same with Twitter. I feel that the people at the top, there's a disconnect between the heads of these big companies and what creators are actually experiencing on the ground, so to speak. I'm not sure if they really listen to feedback, so I'm afraid I'm a little bit cynical about not so much about my channel, but about the control aspect of it. And people might say, "Well, I'm being ungrateful because they're giving you this platform." That's true, and I'm grateful for the platform, but at the same time, it's creators like myself, millions of us, who make these sites what they are. I mean, if it wasn't for thousands, if not millions, of small creators, what would it be? It would just be a service for the big giants out there. The Jake Pauls of this world, the Logan Pauls, and the PewDiePies, and the other giants of, YouTube. Um, so I think it's the smaller creators that actually build it up. And I do feel that on some level they take us for granted. Um, but I've always said I'm grateful for the platform. I'm grateful for what the platform can potentially offer. Anyway, um, tension out of the way. What do I cover? Well, I cover a wide range of things. What I do not do, perhaps that's the easiest thing to start off with. What I don't do, I don't do comedy sketches. It's not that I don't appreciate humor. I'm just not a very funny guy. I mean, I'm not. I guess I can be, but it's not my thing. You know, someone close to me, I'm sure with good intentions, said, "Oh, mate, look at this comedian. He gets millions of views," and he was sort of implying like if you go down this line. But thing is, you can only do what you feel in your heart. You're interested in. You can't just put on this facade to try and get subscribers and to try and get views because it wouldn't be natural. And I think people would read through it. So if I tried to do these comedy sketches, it just wouldn't be natural for me. I appreciate comedy. We need it in life, but it would not be natural for me because it's just not my natural skill. Um, Music again. I don't know what my voice is like. I might try it just for something different. I might do a cover of a song or something. I don't know. I might just give it a shot, see how it goes down. I need to learn the lyrics first, of course. Might give that a go. Um, some people who are not professional musicians are actually pretty good at doing covers. So I might give that a shot. But mostly what I cover is socio-political issues. I think that's the best way to sum it up. I'll talk about all sorts of things. I'll talk about the war in Ukraine. I'll talk about tensions between the West and China over Taiwan. I'll talk about the Conservative leadership contest, Liz Truss, Rishi Sunak. Um, and a lot of this will be very much opinion based. I'm not going to lie about that. Although I've trained as a journalist, this channel is not about journalism. So, as a freelance journalist, if I'm writing an op-ed, I'd need to be 100% sure that my facts are correct. On this channel, I still have responsibility and I'll amend any mistakes I've got. But there's a little bit more flexibility insofar as if I'm commissioned to write for a newspaper, news report, as opposed to an op-ed, I can't be opinionated in that. I have to just state the facts. I have to just get the interview, make sure the quotations are correct, get the facts of the case. With this channel, this isn't really a journalism channel. It's more just my own opinions as an individual. That's what it's about, and that's the pitch that I go for. So, I'm not making this to sort of read the news. I'm making this to more opinionate on what I think of a certain news item. And I do it not to say, not to be pompous and sort of like I'm correct, but just because I'm utilizing this opportunity. I really believe in freedom of expression, and this is mine. This is me utilizing that, and I encourage everyone to do likewise. If you have a channel, don't be shy. Go for it. Let your voice be heard. Um, Ultimately, people are either going to agree with you or disagree with you, and you're not going to please everyone. I know when I make a particularly, if I cover a particularly taboo subject, there will be some people who won't like it, and that's fine. That's their right. That's why I never block comments. 99% of my videos, I have the comment section open because I don't want it to be an echo chamber. I don't want people to just blindly agree with me. And there have been people who've challenged my positions, and we've had a difference of opinion, sometimes quite a strong difference of opinion. And I won't beat around the bush about that. If I feel strongly about something such as Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine, I'm not going to pretend I'm going to meet someone halfway if they support Russia. I have convictions, and I stand up for them. So that's a large part of what my channel is about. But I have got into more personal videos, issues to do with my own personal life, this is kind of something I am a little bit careful about because I feel that it's important to talk about. We often hear, for example, men don't talk about mental health. Well, I try to I try to break that mold, so to speak, by discussing issues like clinical depression that I have been through. Um, and the purpose is not to be overly dramatic. It's not. It's just what it is. That's all. And things like, for example, I've had this experience of ghosting recently, right? Via my experience of online dating. What I want to do, if I do have a mission in this channel, it's to try and defy some of those sort of conventions, i.e., oh, it's pathetic to talk about online dating, or men shouldn't talk about mental health. Although I will say, I think our attitudes have improved overall. I do think things have come a long way in this regard, and that's a good thing. It's good that people are more open nowadays. So, I will take the bull by the horn, so to speak. Say Birmingham will lend me their bull. Ding, see my comedy. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'll do that because I think issues like loneliness, clinical depression, these are actually very widespread problems for men and women. And that's why I talk about them. So if I'm the sort of person, I'm not going to put on a false facade. If I'm not happy, if I am depressed, I'm not going to pretend to people that I'm happy. This doesn't mean I'm going to be an attention seeker or something like that, but I am going to talk about it. I am, because I think that other people out there can feel something similar. They've been through something similar. If nothing else, if they hear my voice and my experience, they could think, well, I've been through something similar. I can relate to that. And this guy is talking about something that I've also been through. That helps people, even a little bit, I'm not a professional psychologist or therapist or anything like that, and I'm not a lifestyle coach. I'm just, in many ways, an ordinary guy just voicing his views on these things. So ghosting, for instance, I've realized actually a lot of people have gone through that. So if by talking about that, it gets people to discuss the issues, maybe that's a good thing. Um, the only time I censor, the only time, is if it gets to the gutter, where the abuse becomes such, either directed against me or against other subscribers, that it just descends into basically quite unpleasantness. I might censor that because if it's a total free for all, it can go to the gutter, and I don't want that to happen. But I want to give people a chance to be, even if they say I'm an idiot or whatever, I'm not going to remove the comment. I'll challenge them. An example of this is Stephen Walsh, if he happens to be watching. The video I made about ghosting, he totally tapped into this sort of stereotype of, oh, well, you must be a loser living in your mother's basement. And this is very much to look at that as an example. In the Western world, particularly, there is a little bit, I think, still a stigma on young men like myself who are single at a certain age because the perception is um, there must be something wrong with us because we can't get female attention. Now, I could say I've had girlfriends, and a lot of my friends are women, so it's not like that at all. But people will try to be smart arses, and they'll try to get under your skin. Um, and the key thing is to not let them. So, in a sense, as gloves off on this channel, nothing is too taboo for me. I'm not going to be shocking. I'm not going to show graphic content, but I think more or less any issue is free. Now, one last thing, I can't cover everything. It's not because other issues are not important. It's just because it's impossible. There's always news going on in the world, and I'm interested as someone with a background in journalism or someone who will be a freelance journalist. I have an interest in almost everything. Really, I have a very, very eclectic range of interests, which is a good thing. It keeps me going. I'm interested in the world and life and people. And so, honestly, sometimes people recommend or talk about this or talk about that with the greatest of respect. I don't do requests because I really, really have to be in the frame of mind to talk about something. And I think if I start doing requests, it would become it would change the direction of the channel. Rather than me being natural and talking about things that are on my mind, it would become more choreographed, more, well, this is the subject today, so I better do my research. And I just feel it would be a bit, I really, it has to be on my mind for me to talk about it. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. That's it, really. That's what my channel is about. So if you like all of this, if you're interested, you might not even agree with me on everything, but you might still be sufficiently interested. Please subscribe. Please feel free to share my videos. One way that I can really get this channel growing is by videos being shared. The few videos I have that are viral in the sense that, I mean, my average viewership is perhaps 40 or 50 views. Some videos get the hundreds, but viral by my standards, I've had some videos that are 15,000, 16,000. I'd like to see a lot more of that, but I wonder how to tap into that. Sometimes it's just good timing. Maybe I've spoken about a subject directly after it happens, but that's not always the case. Um, so I feel it's actually people sharing the videos. So if you do like my content, not only subscribe, please share anywhere you like, any platform you like. You have my absolute permission. If I make any mistakes in these videos, like factual mistakes, someone points them out, I'll take full responsibility for that. It's never deliberate and it rarely happens, but if I do, I will take full responsibility for that. If there's any sort of legal issues, I mean, I never play music, that shouldn't be an issue, but if it ever happens again, I'll take responsibility and address the contention. But otherwise, this is, I want this channel to be as open as possible, and I want people to feel, yeah, share it. Please do. And finally, thank you all profoundly from my heart for all your support, because it does mean something. It would be a waste of time doing this if I had no views. So I really do appreciate that. And live streams, they've been going quite well recently. I do intend to do that more. I'm not going to schedule them simply because it's hard to find a time that everyone's free. So they will be spontaneous, but don't worry if you miss one. I'm going to do them quite periodically. In fact, I might even do one now for the sake of it. Okay, people, thanks a lot, and this is what it's all about. Thanks for watching.